What if Julius Caesar was alive today? He'd be an old man in his early 20s, right? So he'd probably be really into gaming. He'd be sitting in a wheelchair throwing money at the screen, trying to get the good ending. But he'd have no idea how to use the toilet. He'd be like, why won't this thing flush? It's not working. And we'd all be like, dude, you gotta put the right amount of TP in there. And he'd be like, why? What is happening? He'd also be really confused by the fact that we have phones now. Like, why would you need a phone when you have a computer? But then he'd see a TikTok video and be like, wait, so this is why people are glued to their phones all day. He'd also be really into fashion. You know, he'd be like, I'm so glad that I'm back in Rome. And then he'd walk down the street and be like, what the fuck? Why are all these buildings so tall? How are they keeping these things up? He'd also be really scared of elevators. So he'd be like, I'm not getting in that thing, it's a death trap. But then he'd be like, wait, let's go to the bathroom. Where's the bathroom? We're like, it's right down the hall. He'd be like, no, I'm not going to the bathroom. Someone just died in there.